And we'll be back from the break. It is time for us to look at sports business this time around, and on a fruitful day like this one, we'll be discussing the Africa Badminton Championships. And amongst which, and every single Friday we shall be making sure we get you a guest from sports, from the sports segment, and so that we can digest some of these issues regarding sports business. All right, at the time of this moment, let's try to build up from there. As we have in studio with me is Coach Simon Mugabe, the Chief Executive Officer of the Uganda Badminton Association. Many thanks for joining us.
You're welcome, sir.
Well, let's try to also look at the All Africa Badminton Championships. What are the preparations so far?
I can say the All Africa Senior Championships, what we call Thomas and Uber Cup. Thomas means men alone, and Uber Cup women alone. So these championships is going to start from Monday, that is 14th, to Sunday, that is the 20th, at the MTN Arena. And it has attracted the 17 countries from the African continent. It's Africa, as I say, it's Africa. So as I can say, the big shots are in here. For us as hosts, we have been preparing for it, and we are ready set to see that we welcome all these countries that are coming in here.
I've always wanted to ask a very sensitive question. What makes badminton quite separate from tennis?
Okay.
In terms of the rules?
Yes, we can go there, but let me say technical and tactical is that when we are doing this in terms of coaching, let me say that from that angle, tennis is a game that is played by starting to attack.
Okay.
I don't know what you understand, because you have the ball and you attack the opponent.
Immediately.
Yes, the opponent. And you play it on the ground. Now, badminton, you start by defending. I think you get me, where you have to raise the shuttlecock for the opponent to shoot you. So they are two different things. But then tennis is playing on the ground, and then of course badminton in the air. So they are two different, yes.
When you look at the sponsorships that is coming up ahead of this of the tournament, how much money can you estimate has been injected in the preparations?
It's a huge amount of money. I can't really say how much it is, but it's a huge amount because, as you know, we have a budget, and that budget is around 250 million to make it a success. But of course, here and there, we look here and there, and sponsors come up, and of course, we make the event very colorful. It is a bit a challenge because, as you know, it is beginning of the year, and secondly, that as a parent, mostly I don't know the parent, but schools have just opened.
I'm not yet a parent.
Universities have just opened.
The making, yes.
Then business has just opened. So you see, so the money is really not in the flow. But we are going to manage that.
Okay. Now, if you're to look at, I think, like any other sports activity out there, because now everything is turning professional, there is always a price amount attached to it. We would like to know, if you would like to know there, how much will the winning nation at least put in, get after winning this championship?
Let me make a correction on that one to your side.
Okay.
Some continental tournaments are not tied to money.
Okay.
It's like, as you can see, the Olympics. You just get a gold medal. You don't get money.
Medal.
Yeah, but when you go back, maybe your sponsors, your what, they can give you money. So this continental championship does not have money attached to it. It's just the pride, and of course the medals, and of course the trophies.
Okay, and I've been talking about the profession, it being badminton, and it's a sport as well. Do you believe it is considered heavily, like you're saying other sports in Uganda, and the professionals of badminton, that the athletes that take part in badminton, do they take it as a profession, a career, or it's just a leisure activity?
There are three different ways, I think. An athlete can become a professional athlete depending on the performance and of course the marketing. So I can say that as a sport, it is there. It is just that you find that the magnitude of kind of professionalism on the African continent is still very low compared to Europe, compared to Asia, where China and of course Japan, this Indonesia, Malaysia, they have a proper professional kind of system where players, advance to that stage. So in Uganda we have, but it's still very low.
Okay, do you have some sponsors ahead of this particular tournament?
Yes. The major one is of course the Mandela Group of companies, that is State Tires, and of course we are very proud of them. They have been with us for 10 years now, and of course we are still growing more day by day. So they are the major one. Of course there is Bank of Baroda, and of course your neighbor here I think also is coming on, Laika, and many others are coming on board.
Oh, I was expecting to hear of the word of the National Council of Sports. Isn't that also part of the sponsors, or they are yet to respond?
Council, the government funds doesn't come in time.
Okay.
So you shouldn't say that you rely on government. I think the difference between badminton and other sports in this country is that for us we look for sponsorship.
You don't wait
before we
for
rely
it.
for
Okay.
government funding. But I can say it's one of us as partners. So we don't call those sponsors, we call them partners. We call National Council of Sports as partner, Uganda Olympic Committee as partner, of course the World Governing Body, that's BWF as partner, then the Continental PWF as partner. So they are partners with us.
Well, if at all you're just joining in with the conversation, we are looking at the badminton sport as the All Africa Badminton Championship is set underway come next week. So with me in studio is Mr. Simon Mugabe, the Chief Executive Officer at the Uganda Badminton Association. So we are trying to discuss some of the issues ahead of this championship, and also trying to holistically discuss the issues of badminton and the business in the badminton here on Sports Business. So you can add us up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram for more of the discussions here of badminton. Well, let's also look at how do you scout for the athletes. I've seen different sports dignitaries look for different ways of trying to build from the ground base, the young people. So for the badminton, how do you look for new athletes?
I think we call it grassroots.
Okay.
Yeah. So the grassroots, the backbone of any sport in this world is the schools.
Okay.
So we are deep in schools, and before the pandemic we have got over 200 schools playing badminton. So we have that as our basebone of looking for the athletes. So we start from schools, right from primary, then we go to secondary, then of course we go to high institution of learning. So that's what we scout our players.
Okay. Now also we've the issue of looking at the National Council of Sports. We've done that. So you mentioned about the Mandela Group,
yes,
and the fact that they have been with you for 10 years.
Yes.
So should we say you have a partnership with them, or is there a memorandum of understanding signed to partner with you people?
I can say there's no MOU.
Okay.
But it's a good relationship we have with them. And of course, they have looked at our credibility. We are accountable. And of course, Mandela Group of companies doesn't deal with people who are not accountable. So that's why we are there with them. They don't deal with that. And anybody who tries to play around with their accountability is kicked out. So we are lucky that we are still there. And of course, we are still cementing our relationship.
Okay. Let's also look at something here. What do you believe? We have sports here, and very few sports activities in Uganda are quite profitable. If I am to put it right, rather than in other economies or other countries, you find they will have, India has cricket, very profitable sport. In England, you would say their football is, Premier League is very, very profitable for them. The US, they have the NBA. So when you look at badminton here,
basketball.
and basketball, by the way, in the US. So when you look at the Uganda, when you look at Uganda's badminton, do you rate it highly as among the sports that are profitable? Or if at all they're not yet profitable, is there a chance that they can be profitable for the sports sector in Uganda?
I think we are not there yet.
Okay.
But I think we are in line to go to that stage. And I hope that in the few coming months, you'll be able to see that these kind of things are happening. Because having that professional part of things is not an easy thing. You must have good sponsorship so that you can make sure that the players you're talking about are properly paid up. So we are trying to see that we talk with some companies to see that we come up at that stage.
I do believe as a sport, badminton, that is trying to make it through through the fan base of most of the Ugandans who are which is because football is dominating in Uganda here. When you look at that, what are those challenges that you can look at and say these are still hindering this process?
First of all, I want to tell you that badminton is an individual sport.
Okay.
And I think that if badminton was a team sport, I think we would be far. You know, when you come to a sponsor, even yourself here, and of course, I'm going to go on the pitch, and it's Simon Mugabe on the pitch. I mean, the coverage of the images of seeing your image on the pitch is little. And yet a team of 11 people, when they go out with your attire, it gives that big impact of what? Of trying to show that you know you are sponsored. So being an individual sport is the biggest challenge that as a sport we find it very hard to, when you go to somebody say, you say I want to badminton, they say, but wait, what team is that? You say a team is made of one person, if possible 2, 3, 4. You know, he looks at it as something very small, unlike like those team sports like football, which has 11 players, netball, basketball, volleyball. Those are teams. Cricket, you know, hockey. Those are team sports. So for your image, if you are putting money in that, you are able to see on a pitch different people at a certain time putting on your logo. It makes sense for you as a sponsor. So for us, but we are trying to do our best so that you have those who understand individualism. And then, of course, they look at the performance, whether you are coming out through to be good on international scene, because they don't want to associate with failures. Oh. Yes.
As any other sport in the world, most of the competitions do have domestic championships, or they can be called leagues or any other. And so does badminton. So when you look at the National Badminton League of 2022, before we actually talk about the preparations ahead of it, how long have you been holding the badminton championships locally, like the league for the local athletes here?
I can say we are, you see, people I don't understand the word league. In terms of league, it must be a home and away.
Okay.
And badminton's challenges are facility.
You don't have...
As you look at it, all clubs don't have the facilities that are suitable to match. If I come play from here, which is your home, when you come to my place, it's the same arrangement. You know, that kind of, you know, facilities that are at the same level, and of course there is no complaint. They have a carpet, and they also have a carpet. You get it? The roof is high, the lighting is good, so they are not there, and that's a big challenge. So the league that we are going to do is so that we have converged people in one area, and then try to see how they can be playing against themselves. But it's not that they are going to be moving from here to there, as you can see. But the league is a home and away. If I'm here, I'll have to go to Arua, and then Arua comes to Kampala.
Okay.
So which is not easy. But we shall try to see that we can have a league where we converge in one place, and of course teams can compete, and then of course we go on there. So I can't say that we have been there, but we are going to go there.
So you've just been holding championships.
Yes.
I must say.
Yes.
But for how long have you been holding this championship? Or even if you can help us stress the history of badminton in Uganda?
No. For you see, for any, I can say there are two things. For any federation to be active,
okay,
at least you must have a national champion. Exactly. You must have. You can't train players day to day without them competing. It's not there. So for championships, we have been having them both for schools. As I told you, for schools, we have been having the Tiber schools every year. We have been having the Peak Fair National Schools Championships. We have been having we had the NSSF, we had the State Tires, we have UCC, Baroda, many. So tournament national championships are many, but it is that as of now we are trying to see that with the COVID, maybe we come up and see how we can start moving on with them.
Okay, in one of the discussions you have been having, I happen to have heard of the MTN Arena in Lugogo as the ground that you'll be using.
Yes.
So when you look at the issue about facilitation, when do you expect, or do you have any future expectations that by this year we would want to have our own court for badminton? And if so, what do you believe has caused the delay for you to have your own court as a badminton association?
What I can say, maybe I can enlighten you, is that in Uganda, as I know, as a leader of sports, there's no sport that has got its own home.
Okay.
Even if FIFA doesn't have. They don't have. We don't have federation with their own home. But those challenges, we do have them, and of course, we are thinking of having a facility. If you can have anything that within the proximity, it doesn't make sense to have a home where you are going to put people in Mabira. You know, you have to they must have players to come close to what, to where they can play from. So it is something that is really bothers us. But in the future, we are looking at having what, a home of our own.
Okay, and let's also look at situations to do with badminton equipment. So I believe the equipments like the rackets, the nets, and other requirements. Where are these requirements got from? Do you import? Are they made from Uganda? And if so, how much do they cost? First, take us through all those.
Yeah, badminton equipment. You see, the issue is if you can look at it, even when you are walking on the street, I think you'll see some walkers selling rackets.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say that the equipment is there. We have it a lot because the game is on. So if the game is on, you can't fail to have the equipment. So badminton equipment, that is rackets, shuttlecocks,
okay,
nets, are in stock in very many shops in Kampala Road. If you go either Ruomu, wherever it is, they're in plenty. As the federation, we are trying to see that we can also have the ones that we can have as our approved from the official sponsors, recognized by the world body, where we can have it, and then we can also distribute it to various members. So I can say equipment is widely available. About prices, it depends, my dear, because what it is that they are those what we call original and of course duplicates. So the prices will depend, okay? So if it is the original, the price can be higher, like $200. I mean, an equivalent to $200. And if it is the duplicate, you can have it at 100,000 shillings. But also there are rackets that are costing 25,000 for the beginners. So they are there. And even nets, a net is costing 15,000, 20,000. But a good net is costing $100.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some business I've realized here in Uganda lately is that people are coming up with artificial turfs for football. Late in the evening, where people pay to access these football pitches. And these pitches are normally having artificial turf. So if someone came out to start up a badminton business court in Uganda, would that be favorable to the sport in any way?
The turf. What I want to tell you is that as of now, we have got two types of badminton. Okay. We have indoor and outdoor. So outdoor is, we have just introduced it here in Uganda last year. And they play from the beach. You can play from the beach, you can play from the grass, you can play from the concrete, from your background. So if that one is there, I think it's fine. Yesterday I was talking to my former, he's a colleague of mine, former basketball president and vice president UFC, Ambrose Tashobia, when he was trying to, you know, being an architecture, he has done a lot of building basketball courts and of course football. Then I said, how about badminton, you know, because we have the outdoor badminton. So what I can say is that the turf you're talking about, it can be used. And we have the outdoor. But indoor, we don't use the turf.
Okay.
Yes, we use mats.
Okay. Speaking of which, as we're trying to sum up with this discussion, like I said earlier, for the viewers out there, if you have been following up this discussion and wondering what exactly have we been talking about, we are talking about the badminton, and amongst which of all factors, the All Africa's Badminton Championship that is coming up next here in Uganda in the next week, to be precise. And with the fact that a number of teams will be coming in and to compete with also the Ugandan team, how also try to take us through with the African Championship, which country last hosted the event? And then also which country last won or had the more victors?
Yeah. This particular event, which is Thomas Uber Cup, Africa Championships, was last held in Egypt.
Okay.
That was before the COVID, that is 2020. And I can say that during that championships, Egypt became a winner in the women team, that is Uber Cup. And Algeria became triumphant in the men's team, which is the Thomas Cup. And they were supposed to represent Africa in the finals, which are in Denmark, but because of COVID, they couldn't do it. They did it last year to represent Africa in that event. Yeah.
So, and when you took us through the preparations, I do believe there's something, maybe the National Council, or who normally helps out in terms of the travel, and which are those key sponsors who help you out when you're traveling out of the country in such competitions, and how many players do you go with?
As I said, if it's the team championships, the minimum is 4 players. If it is the mixed. If it is this Thomas and Uber Cup, the minimum is 8 players. That is 4 men and 4 what?
4 women.
If it's individual tournaments, international, even 1 player, even you yourself, you can go and represent the country. So, in terms of who helps, as I said, the government helps us through National Council of Sports, okay? And of course, we look for sponsors. The sponsors are our backbone. And then, of course, our council comes in, and of course, we work as a team, as I said, of course, as partners, and then we see that they can go and participate. So we work with the National Council of Sports, we work with the Uganda Olympic Committee, and of course, with our partners, the sponsors.
And then, lastly, with this situation here regarding what we were discussing about, I would like you to also help us take us through how long this event is going to take, the championship, and your expectations as we are summing up this discussion.
What I can say is the tournament, the championship is starting on Monday at 9 a.m. That it will be opened by the president of Uganda Olympic Committee, that is Dr. Donald Lukale, and it will go on until Sunday the 20th, and we expect Honorable Hamson Oboa to officially close it. It has got both team event and individual. Where team means Uganda. When you go on court, you guys Uganda. That will be gone from Monday up to Thursday. Then after that, you shall have individual, where you go as Simon, representing Uganda. Okay, so it has that 2 categories, and of course, the winning team will get both trophies and of course medals. That is gold, and of course runners-up silver, and of course then 3rd place will be having the bronze medalist. As I say, we have got 17 countries, and we have the best cream on the continent. That is Algeria, Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, Mauritius, and of course Uganda.
Uganda is ranked which number?
We are number 3 on the African continent. So we are there.
Yes. So Algeria is ranked number 1.
Algeria is number 1, yes.
All right, that is Coach Simon Mugabe for you, the Chief Executive Officer of the Uganda Badminton Association. Many thanks for joining us today, and thank you very much for sparing your time. Well, as we are summing up with sports business, just look at some of the English Premier League matches that did happen over Thursday night. As 10-men Arsenal won 1-0 against Wolves. Goal coming in from Gabriel Magalhaes. And then Liverpool won 2 goals past Leicester City in the English Premier League that happened on Thursday night football. Well, with that, you can easily tell that sports business for this week comes to an end. But we shall surely be giving you all the updates, even from the world of badminton, as the championship will definitely kick off Monday. Well, this is it, and I'm Jerry Paul Sonko. Coming up after the break is more to do with business and the updates with Rita Cabanyoro. This is SMB.